Hello folks, and welcome to my review of the new Isuzu D-Max. This one's the DL40 4x4 double cab edition. They start in manual form at a bit under £33,000. This automatic is a bit over £34,000. Under here we've got a 1.9 diesel engine that gives 164 PS of power, 360 Newton meters of torque, which is actually slightly less than the outgoing model, which had 400 Newton meters. The towing capacities are very respectable, 3.5 tons. And we've got a payload of over a ton in the back here. The bed liner they've used here is brilliant, by the way. It really feels great. Feels like you could do anything to that and it'll survive. One thing I will say though is this optional top box has been fitted, and I mean, we've had biblical rain this week. I mean biblical rain, and we have had some leaks in here, just small ones, but it should be mentioned. Obviously that could be a fitment issue, it could be an issue with this particular top box, but I thought it worth a mention. And this tailgate, by the way, is really nice and weighty. I feel like you could drive another one into that and it would still look exactly the same. It's very nice. So into the front cabin, and it's all rather lovely, surprisingly so actually. The fit and finish in here is much better than I would expect in most commercial vehicles, and certainly a big step up from the outgoing D-Max. You've got soft touch materials up here, a handy little storage cubby there, another one on the dash here above the glove box. Really feels good, well screwed together, feels like it's going to last forever. Now some of the plastics are really hard, but they don't feel cheap in any way. They really feel robust. It feels like you're going to get in this vehicle after a day at work, you're going to throw your stuff around a bit and it's going to live to tell the tale. It really does have that feel of quality about it. And a really big part of that are these gorgeous leather seats. They're really comfortable, really nice leather or leatherette material, and they've been finished off in quite a stylish fashion. Again, a level above you would expect in what is essentially a commercial vehicle first and foremost. Now front and centre on the dashboard we find this dinky little infotainment screen. It's just 7 inches, although you know some people are happy with 7 inches, aren't they? So no built-in sat-nav in this system, but it does give you DAB and standard radio, Bluetooth audio, USB media connections, and get this, not only have you got Android Auto, but you've got wireless Apple CarPlay. To put that in context, we're in an Isuzu pickup truck and we've got wireless Apple CarPlay, which is something you don't get on a lot of fairly premium cars, including anything by Genesis that you might be paying close to 6 figures for. Although the resolution's not amazing on this screen and it's certainly not that big, it's more than sufficient when you're using it with Apple CarPlay. No issues with it in practice at all. It just feels like a little bit daft to have so much real estate here and have about 1.5 inch bezel around it when that just could be screened for what must be just a couple of shillings more. You've got physical controls for volume and to skip tracks and all that kind of good stuff. Very simple to use, there's just not really much to it. We've also got physical controls for the air conditioning, and the air conditioning works really, really well. And we've got the controls here for your 2-wheel drive, and to flick that over to the 2 different options for 4-wheel drive ratios. We've got heated seats in this one, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist. It really is a very well-spec'd vehicle that competes with a lot of fairly expensive cars. The rear cabin, again, is surprisingly premium in the way it feels. Nothing particularly flash going on. I mean, all we've got is an electric window control, a couple of vents and 1 USB-A. But it's the fit and finish of everything. It all feels very, very solid and very well made. Huge seat back pocket there. There is a small transmission tunnel. The middle seat in the back here is perfectly adequate for an adult, and you're not lacking in shoulder or foot room really. And we've even got a nice little coat hanger on the back of the passenger seat. Your passengers are going to love it in here. Unfortunately folks, once you get onto the road, you'll find that some of that refinement, some of those extra touches they've made to this car to make it feel a lot more car-like and a lot less pickup-like, sort of go away as soon as you turn the engine on. And what you have is really quite a gruff diesel engine that feels at times a little bit lacking for power, especially on steep inclines. And I've only had that experience so far with me in the car with no load. So if this is fully laden with people and cargo, I fully expect this engine might struggle a tad. Having said that, once you get up to motorway speed, it's perfectly capable. It cruises along really nicely. It doesn't leave you massively fatigued or anything. It's just a little bit rougher and gruffer than you'd expect in a vehicle with this level of fit and finish. And it's a shame that engine note is a bit gruff, because otherwise it's fairly well mannered on the road for a pickup. Aside from that, that gets annoying quickly. Lots of different safety features in the car which will bing and bong at you as you cruise down the road, but it's a sign of the times, folks. It's not necessarily a slight on this particular vehicle. But as I said, the rest of the road manners in this are actually pretty decent. You don't get thrown around half as much as you do in some of the competitors, but you don't have that nice sort of smooth, refined engine note that you'll get from something like a V6 Ranger, for example. All in all, it's a really nice thing to drive. It's just that rattly old diesel does get a little bit tiresome after a while. And you have to think that, given the effort they've gone to with the rest of the cabin, a little bit more thought and effort around sound deadening and insulation inside the cabin wouldn't have gone amiss. It feels like this vehicle is probably aimed at taking the tradesman away from having a van and a car at home, and giving him something that can actually do both things and do them both well. This absolutely does that. You've got a level of equipment and fit and finish in here that is up there with quite a lot of family cars. It actually exceeds quite a few family cars. One thing I will say about this engine is it returns pretty decent MPG considering the size and weight of this vehicle. I've done quite a lot of mixed driving, a couple of longer runs but on sort of A and B roads rather than motorways, and it's combining out with 36.6 MPG, which, as I said, considering the size and weight of this thing, I don't think it's too bad at all. Had Isuzu given us a second choice of engine for this vehicle and spent a tiny bit more time and effort on the sound insulation, this would have been the one to beat. Now, the D-Max is obviously one of the original gangsters in the pickup world, but it's got a lot of stiff competition now from Toyota, from VW, from SsangYong, and this is nearly good enough to stand with the best of them. As it is, it's just a strong contender. The really standout good points with this are that it's very well equipped. You know, it's got a really good level of standard equipment that a lot of passenger cars don't actually come close to. It's got a really good quality interior. As I said, although they've used some hard plastics in there, they feel like they're going to last. They're really robust. It's got 5 stars from Euro NCAP, which is not always a priority for pickup truck manufacturers. And obviously it's very capable off-road, although I have to say I haven't been able to test that out this week. Downsides are that engine noise. You know, it's just not that refined. And the fact that there's only one choice of power plant, that 1.9 diesel engine, which is very agricultural. It's not the most powerful thing in the world. I really feel they should have had a V6 option here as well. But aside from those few minor quibbles, this is a very good, very practical, very capable pickup truck that should definitely be part of the conversation. I hope you've liked this video, folks. Please give it a thumbs up if you have. In fact, give it a thumbs up even if you've disliked it, because it helps us out. Please subscribe to the channel, and please go and watch this video. I think you're going to like that one for sure. Thanks.